I think Daniel's got the best dance down, for sure. So I think Daniel wins. What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
What's up?
Chilling out.
Doing stuff.
I feel
Tuesday
sad,
nights.
man.
Of course, you feel sad. You've been reviewing the Tau book,
Yeah, I feel really sad.
and
This
you also
never listen to me when it comes to tower advice.
and you also apparently played a human being with a brain, and you lost. You lost with your precious conscript army.
When I went second against Harlequins, I won when I went first. So
Is this
I'm
ETC
happy
prep?
with the result because Astra has all the tools to kill everything I have. Or Tau, I mean. No, Harlequins. So I'm happy with the result of winning when I go first, at least, because I reckon that was my worst matchup.
He reckons. I like that
He
white
reckons?
T-shirt.
I'm wearing the GG shirt. by
Looking
the way.
fly.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my GG merch.
Pretty
but-
fly for a Brad guy.
You get GG merch when you actually start playing real people, not these beginner Battletown players.
You know, he's probably been playing Jimmy this entire time, and you're just making Jimmy super sad now. He's just like, he's played me 8 games in a row. Why does Alan keep insulting me so much?
I actually haven't seen
I
Jimmy
haven't-
play a real game. I saw Jimmy deploy a Chaos Army once and then make a lot of complaints about his opponent's dice. And I'm just like, that sounds like a bad player. Like, and I walked away and then broke my chest somewhere in a corner. Like, but that's all I actually witnessed. Because that year at ETC, I was playing Age of Sigmar, so I never actually saw you guys play. I saw and heard, you know, the overall feeling in the hall, and the overall feeling is that Team Sweden has zero fucking clue on how to pair anyone. So I heard that, but I didn't see Jimmy actually play. So is Jimmy actually good? Is he like better than Heinrich was in his prime? No, is he better than Olaf in his prime? Big sausage
one?
Olaf. Big sausage Olaf.
Jimmy's good.
Okay.
But you have to really narrow that down, though. There's multiple Olafs.
No, there's only one big sausage Olaf. There's only one Olaf who knocks on your hotel door
Sausage
at 2 a.m. and then opens his pants. There's only one. We all know which Olaf this is. So,
And I feel fantastic. Well, I feel as good as I always do, which is always meh, but I'm immune to hangovers. As Britt says, I always feel terrible, so I wouldn't notice if I had a hangover anyways. So
I think your whole life is just a hangover.
I've also tried to figure it out because I've been exposed multiple times, I'm pretty sure, to COVID, but I've never gotten COVID, and I'm going to take my 7th or 8th COVID test tomorrow before I have another procedure done. And I think that I've got the answer to not getting COVID, which is have so many other things wrong with you that there's no room for the COVID to get in. I just counter it. All my other things just bounce off.
What if COVID is like a mutated virus that only infects a host that's going to live for a long time? And if like you're already on your way out, it's just like, nah, we're good.
Hurtful.
I mean,
I mean, that's clearly
the
wrong. So
statistics-
these are
the
bad jokes.
statistics of people over 85 dying shows that it's not.
It's not. Yeah, I know.
This is not it.
This is my attempt to make Brad feel bad, not to insult anyone
But I
else.
mean, like all viruses, I guess you need to have an active immune system for it to be bad for you, right?
Oh my God.
Because it's the
you're like a
immune system
professional.
that makes you really sick, not the virus.
Oh, wow.
Again, I don't need it. This immune system, that seems dumb. Just skip over that. You're wasting time. They could be doing other stuff.
You know what you need a really good immune system for? Reading the Tau book and not being physically just taken by like an ailment, like so badly that your brain just creates something wrong with you. I think you need a good immune system for that. I don't know what Brad's reading, but it looks like a book. He's just like,
I am scrolling over my Tau list.
oh. So we were on the cast Friday. I
Tell
can't
us
really.
about it so we can laugh.
I didn't realize that you had to scroll. We were on the call Friday. We did some list reviews. That went real well. A lot of positive feedback from the community all over the place. I got a bunch of personal calls and people reached out. So that's going to be a thing. I guess we're going to make it a thing, and it's going to kind of have its own place. So we're looking forward to that and figuring out exactly what that means. For those who've submitted lists to me directly on GG or on my Pajama Pants Facebook, I am looking them over. We are going to reach back out. Just please keep in mind that I had absolutely no idea how many people would reach out until it happened. So I was expecting a handful of people. So
You were expecting only James Carmona.
yeah, I was expecting like James is like, hey, can I get back on the show? I really want people to know who I am. But then other than James, I didn't expect too many others, and that was not the case. So we have a lot. And then I talked to Brad about it, and Brad's like, I typically charge for stuff like this. So, and I'm like, no, Brad, you're going to do it absolutely free, on air, zero prep. So if you by any chance happen to not know what the list is or the unit is, you look like a fool. So
Luckily
I'm excited.
For me, I don't sleep very much, so I know all the units except for the Forge World. You got to tell me those.
Yeah. So we do have somebody who's interested in reviewing them for us. So I've already reached out to that person. We're not going to name them because they've asked not to be named. They're going to kind of look over the lists and kind of figure out, which ones we should cover, because I want all three of us to go in dark and not see the list at all, and not know it, and kind of give our live feedback. That's really the whole point. Yeah, I want to make fun of things live. So we're going to start today off by going live. Brad, tell us this amazing Tau army that's going to win every GT in the local area.
Codex Broadside.
Okay. What's in Codex Broadside? Walk us through this, man. Pitch me on this. You're in a pitch meeting right now, okay? You have a suit on. You're like, hey, let me explain to you why this is a good idea.
To pitch Tau. I have all these other products.
That was the task.
That was the task, bro. You can't choose the case you get.
Fucking timeshare that I
cases
have to sell.
Cases just come on your desk, right? And you gotta play the best you can with the hand you're dealt. And the hand you were dealt on Friday was Tau. You're up first.
My bestiest of my list.
You got to sell it. Give me the proposal. What's the pitch? Why am I playing this army? Why am I playing your army?
Because I did the best with what I've got.
So you went about, I'm going to make the best Tau army. And then so who are you trying? What's your target audience? Your target audience is people who just love Tau and want to be really good with them, and they want to win a tournament? Is that who your target audience is?
I want to do Tau. I want to do people that my target audience is Tau, people that love Tau, but also people that, can still win in the meta. So
okay.
I want to have some options.
Tell us about the list, because I want to see what you came up with.
I mean, I'm always going to take because I think it's amazing. I do like Breacher
You're
teams.
always going to take.
Yeah, start. No, just give us the list. Not always going to take nothing. Just list. Boom, go.
3 units of broadsides, high yield missile pods, smart missile systems, 3 units of breachers, big unit of crisis.
So 3 units of 3, so 9 broadsides.
Correct.
Okay.
What support systems do you have on them?
Yeah, what support systems? I was going to ask the same thing.
I've got 2 velocities and a shield generator on them, and then I got I did 3 of them with heavy rail rifles. And then the other 6 I have high yield missile pods, and the high yield missile pods are all taking advanced targeting systems for the extra AP.
Okay, that makes okay.
And then I took some marker drones with them, so I just have some marker mojo, so you can get the +1, reroll 1s, hopefully get 5, so you can get the +1 to hit. And then I'm taking 2 crisis suit bombs, so with air bursting fragmentations. Also with some markers drones, so I can snipe things around. You can drop behind, get some engage on all fronts, because I'm also looking for the secondaries. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the biggest problems with Tau. Yeah, is that they have a hard time just scoring points. They can blow people off the board, but they don't score any damn points.
How are you preventing them from getting touched though? The broadsides.
The marker drones are going to take 2 waves basically to push up in front, and then. The breachers are super low power level, so you can put them in reinforcement, so you can jump out, get a scrambler, get a objective, shoot. They're super better at close range, of course. Then I've got the 3 units of crisis suits, 1 big unit, and 2 tiny units. And and then I've got a couple. I actually took 2 devilfish, just 2 90-point devilfish to help with the screen out process, and also to suck up some mortal wounds.
So, and what HQs?
So right now it's 9 broadsides surrounded by fire warriors. I think you said, with breachers potentially coming in reserve, potentially not. A bunch of marker drones
and a cold star with 4 fusion.
Yeah,
you went 4 fusion on the cold star. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to zoom them up, and when it's time, pimp out something.
Okay.
A hard target that needs to be taken. I basically, like I said, I have a total of 5, 10, 15. 20 marker drones that are out there. The ethereal. I went a little low on commanders because I didn't feel like dumping all that, and I'm leaning heavy into the broadsides. I'm back and forth. I was going to try to one of my other lists. I was going to try to fit in the Riptide because I do like the Ion Riptide with the fusion.
Yeah,
It's a basically just guaranteed huge amount of damage even if you don't overcharge it. So I think that I might take out one of the crisis suits, and I also have a Firesight Marksman right now. I'm really leaning into the microdrone mojo. So I'm leaning on whether I could find the Riptide's just expensive. You know what I mean? It's almost 300 points if you give it scare.
It's more than 300 points with support system. It's like
you put all this stuff on. But the thing is that I don't know if this has enough mojo. Plus the fact that you can also overcharge him to do things like the 2d6 move after everything, so you can turbo up. Obviously, you can branch overcharge it, so you can get the 3-up and the extra shots. So there's a lot to be said for having at least a single Riptide in here. Right now, I kind of made it. I was trying to make a slightly. I mean, this is pretty in the box towel list, but I was trying to make it so that it was just a little bit better at taking the objective, because we play at Sniggs' place. Him and CK both like Tau, and the problem is that the Tau always has a hard time taking the board.
Yeah.
So the other thing. Oh, sorry, I do have one stealth suit team also. You just have to have more stuff. It's just the Tau feel like they have a ton of shots, a ton of goodness, but they seem to just struggle to score, and that's what I was trying to do with the crisis suits and all the small things like the devilfish, the crisis suits, and the stealth teams. Just trying to kind of take the board, take secondaries, basically just try to score more points. Because I see that's the downfall of Tau a lot, is they just put all this focus downhill, shoot. They kill everything, but they stay in their little corner, and their opponent, even if you blow them off the board, just seems to be ahead in primary and secondaries.
Do you have like a custom sept also in mind, or?
Yeah, I was just going to go with the Harden because I have so many smart missile systems and the high yields. So I went with I basically just want Harden. I don't really care about. I was debating whether I want Harden and stabilization, but Harden is just is 100% in.
Yeah, Harden is extra AP on shots, or
I yield on shots on smart missiles. High yield.
Yeah, Harden warheads. Yeah,
right.
Okay, all right. I mean, I think you went a very standard Brad Chester-like approach. There's no real tricks. You kind of took the very efficient stuff mathematically. You took the stuff that a smart person would take. You're playing the game in the way that you're basically saying this is these are the good units. This is where I'm going to get my best trades. This is where I'm going to get my best output. You're doubling down in the marker light section. You have some some versatility in the list, but Tau doesn't have very much anyways. So what you have is
I'm saying that I made multiple lists, and the other list I just look at them and I'm like, I feel like they're too tricksy. I could do like a million, you could do 3 detachments and run 3 cold stars and zoom all over the place, but it just doesn't feel like you play the mission still well. And I wanted something that just had the best. Basically, I just would try to go the most efficient.
And at the end of the day, the problem with your Tau list is you're never going to get your trades right. Like you're going to be losing your units by far less points spent on your opponent.
They don't trade up. And the thing is right now, without Tau, the suits being able to shoot into combat, that's I think one of their biggest flaws is if they were treated like monsters, you could do more stuff with it. But once you start touching these broadside units,
they just don't do anything.
Right. They can't punch their way out. They can't, they leave, they do nothing. You just follow them back. So you literally set up multiple screens with, the devilfish, the marker drones and stuff like that. So your opponent's hitting them. But
imagine if they were slightly less, slightly less lethal, but had the hive guard rule where they don't need line of sight at all.
Well, that would be huge too.
That would be big. That would really help.
Being able to shoot, even just being able to shoot just like a monster, that would be a big deal too. Yeah. I feel like just
maybe both.
The problem is once you touch, the game's over. You know what I mean? So
which is kind of stupid in general. I like that they're moving away from that for tanks, and I think it's really cool that they're moving away from that for monsters. And I think other units that are kind of in the gray zone, they need to get either updated, or they need to reevaluate how to make them better elsewhere, so that they don't.
I mean, yeah. I just feel like broadsides are basically dreadnoughts. They're, you know what I mean? They should be treated the same way. It's just my opinion. On that.
Valid.
I mean, they're literally dreadnought cost per guy, basically.
I also think anybody can pick up your list, Brad, and if they have any Tau experience in any previous edition, they'll be fine with it because it's very common 7th, 6th kind of flair. Obviously, it's not like
you have those models too.
Yeah.
These are old school, kind of staying with it. I didn't want to go. Like I said, I made some other stuff and it felt too tricksy, and I was just like, well, let's go with the things that do the most possible damage in here, but also put in some elements to take the board. Score some secondaries, push out a little bit, take the board. The problem is you can only push out so hard with Tau to take the objectives. I think the Tau just auto lose if you're one of the primaries where you have to take 2 to get 5, because I think the Tau can reliably take 2, but after that you're really pushing out and endangering yourself. And if your opponent's taking the board and scoring, that's a mission where it feels like you're just going to get stuck with a lot of times your opponent getting a 15 and you're not going to get a good score on your primary.
Yeah. All right. I don't know what else to say other than boring, but effective.
You said Tau.
Effective for your group. You made an audience group and you targeted well. You said I'm targeting Tau players who love Tau and they want to play Tau, but they also want to win some games. So yeah, I think you're good. Yeah, sounds good to me. Daniel, any changes, any differences? What'd you come up with?
So I tried to build a Tau list that was according to my own style of play, which is pretty much focused around movement blocking and forcing your opponent not to do what they want to do while you can move up and do your shenanigans. So I started the list with like 15 piranhas because when I started building the list, because in theory they're really
and then he was like, I can't take anything else. I just have 15 piranhas.
He's like 15 piranhas, and then I went to sleep. I was like, well done, sir. Well done.
No, but I started there because I thought in theory, since you're paying 20 points for a gun drone, and you get 2 gun drones on a piranha for 63 points.
It's like a 23-point model.
Yeah, exactly. So I felt like I'm gonna need some drones anyway, so this should work out.
And then what you realized is
the list on 6 piranhas, because I realized I couldn't afford any damage dealing units. But now I'm thinking I might drop one of the 2 riptides I have to actually increase the piranhas with like 6 again, because I need more drones. I'm struggling with marker lights as well. So whatever I say, this is not a good list, but it's a work in progress.
Well, who's your audience for? So your audience is for people who like to play move block shenanigans in 40K, and you're trying to bring move block to help Tau have a board presence. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. So you get board presence, and if you can push your enemy away from objectives by sort of being in the way and standing in the way for them.
Yeah. And you didn't like Kroot or Kroot Riders or Kroot Hounds or any of that stuff?
I don't like Kroot. I don't know why. Maybe I should have some Kroots, but I don't know. Anyway, I also felt with the piranhas that I anyway need drones for broadsides and riptides and shit. So I thought it was sort of a good way to go. But then when I added up the points, I thought the list looked really cool at like 2,350 points. But then I had to bring it down to 2,000 points again. So
I mean, you can make
it was troublesome, but I ended up with like Shadow Sun, double Montka because I want to be able to move.
Yeah.
An ethereal because it's a cheap HQ, and the 6 up Philno Pain is, it's okay. 3 breacher units or strike units or whatever they're called, the old fire warrior units. 2 broadsides, one with ion cannon and one with burst cannon, both with SMSs. They both have the early warning system, so I can shoot at shit that tries to deep strike on me. And something else, advanced targeting system.
That's only is that only within 12 inches now? Like if it's within 12, you get to shoot it now with Tau, or can you still shoot the whole board? I don't even know that one.
No,
It's 12, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's 12.
Anyway, just to keep stuff from coming too close.
How many
then I
times have you
three
had that
fire-
rule? How many times have you had that rule where it's like, if you come within 12, I shoot you kind of thing, and your opponent puts a unit down? It's clearly within 12. They clearly forgot or don't know. Most likely forgot. And then they look at you and they go, oh, well, then I just won't put it there. I'll put it somewhere else. And you're like, the whole point of having this goddamn rule is so when you make this mistake, I punish you for it. And now I'm the bad guy if I say, no, you can't relocate it. But how many times have we let people relocate it? Every time. I always feel like those rules are pointless. Like they should just make the rule.
But it's still fine because then they're more than 12 inches away. So
I know, I get it, I get it.
The thing about it is like
but that's just infiltrator rule. Then you never actually get to shoot them because like it never comes up.
But the thing is I wasn't gonna shoot him anyways because of the fact that if you're playing town, you don't have a screen in front of you. You're probably gonna get your ass kicked anyways. So I don't want them to be that close. So it never really comes up because.
No, I'm happy with them relocating to
get farther away.
Galaxy in a far
exactly. You don't want to get
I'm
into
happy with that result for 30 points on my 2 Riptides. So
I just wonder though. I wonder though that the rules writers though are under the impression that like the scenario in which you actually shoot them comes up and sticks because it like never happens. Never.
No.
Like even when I used to play with Kodias, like I'd be like, oh well, Kodias gets to shoot you now, and they're like, oh, I just won't put him there, and I'm like, fine. Like the whole fucking point of this is so I shoot you
multiple times in a row.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you remember that tournament? Do you remember that fucking that dude where he shot? Yeah.
Yeah. Drove in 3 or 4 vehicles directly on top of Kodias. And got all of them killed.
I mean, I guess.
Kept on coming.
That's not how it's supposed to work. But yeah,
and
go
then
ahead.
I have 3 fire marksmen or whatever they're called. That's the only
Marker lights.
Markers I have, which is way too little, so I need to find points for that.
Yeah.
But I don't know how yet. So probably one of the Riptides have to go. And then I have 5 broadsides and 6 piranhas. And the broadsides have high yield and
smart missile.
Smart, yeah, exactly.
And you're taking the -1 rend on those as well.
Yeah, so they have the
whatever it's called, -1 rend.
They have.
Yeah,
they have the -1
and
rend.
they have. They don't have target lock because I'm playing the Sept where you can move and shoot without minus, and then I'm playing the -1 warhead Sept as well. So
it's hard not to take that. It's just so good. It's just
and if I could have 15 if I could have a few more marker lights and a few more piranhas, I think the list could work, especially if you're going first. Because then I think you can push things back.
It can expand, and by the time you get it back down and beat it up, you're already up on primaries probably with a little bit of board control in some games.
I think Tau's one of the few armies that I really want to go first with.
Is that right, Daniel?
You want to push out and get your screens up and take some objectives.
Yeah, and with a double advanced shoot thing, I mean, at least you're getting table if you have proper screening, but.
That's why I took all those marker drones just to push out, basically use the marker drones, of course, but also just to push out. You just need, because like I said, as soon as people touch you, it's nonsense. That's why I took those, and I think they're overpriced still. I think the crisis suits, because I took the aeroballistic frag, because I just want to snipe things, basically take an objective, be on the other side of the wall, try to kill some stuff without even exposing myself.
That's why I started with 30 or 15 piranhas. That's 30 gun drones. One of the 5th broadside has drone controller. So I was thinking just using those as ablative shields and screens, and also actually dealing a bit of damage.
Yep. Okay.
But
I think it's fair.
I don't know. I mean, don't listen to me when it comes to Tau. I don't know if it's playable. It's definitely not very innovative, and I'm missing out on market drones, and I'm missing out on. I feel I'm missing out on a lot of things. I was even looking into planes and stuff.
They have some cool planes. They have some cool planes. I haven't read a codex as much as I read the Tau codex on Sunday. I haven't read a codex in that much detail for a while. So I totally agree with both of you guys. Yeah, no, I like it, Daniel. It's very much your style, and actually, to be honest, I got to something very close to yours too at one point on my list building on Sunday. So for me, I kind of knew Brad's list was out there and was like a list. I mean, when I say Brad's list, I mean like I kind of knew I could build something off of 9 broadsides with the idea of building screens, and waves that just lets them shoot for 3 turns, and hopefully I kill enough to win the game. So I knew that. I also knew Piranha's freaking Andrew Gagno. One of the greatest, one of the good players of 40K, and a friend of mine who you guys all know. We just love each other. We actually do love each other, to be honest. I'm fine with him. He's notorious for piranhas and Tau, and he's just done some really cool stuff with them. So I was looking at the same thing you were, Daniel. Inspired by Gagno, trying to figure out a cool piranha strategy, and I came to the same realization that they're so expensive. It's not that they're discounted because gun drones are already 20 points. It's that gun drones shouldn't be 20 points.
No, I know, but
that's the
I
problem.
needed drones anyway, and I'm not paying 20 points per drone.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed.
It's
Yeah,
brutal, man.
yeah. But now you're paying like 60 points for 2 drones, so it's kind of like you get a piranha in it.
But the piranhas shoot a bit.
Yeah, they shoot a little bit.
And they do other things.
The problem is that it literally is a bit.
It's just
Most
like
people are just going,
it's not much.
Oh, you shot me.
Yeah.
Rude.
I feel like in terms of general surface area, you would take up the same amount of area with 3 drones as you would with a piranha. So like you'd actually save 3 points. I think. If your only goal is to just move block.
Not gonna lie, that's why I threw the devilfish in there, dude, because they are 90 points and
So,
they come with 2 guntrons.
Yeah, no, Brad, I like the devilfish too. I actually, there was an army at ATC I played back when the same year I played you, Brad, when I played your Eldar. And crushed you. And I played someone earlier in that tournament. Yeah, I played someone earlier in that tournament with my shock attack guns, and this dude had like all devilfish, all mechanized Tau. So it was like 9 or 10 devilfish-like vehicles, hammerhead-like vehicles, plus the Forge World ones. It was like 9 or 10 of them, maybe even 12 of them. I don't know. There's so many vehicles. It was all vehicle-based. I really like that list. So I pivoted a little bit from you guys. So my target audience is painters, hobbyists, movie buffs, people who want to win best painted, people who drive motorcycles and have to go to tournaments because, carrying things is hard. So I went a totally different route. My army is for someone who wants to spend time to paint their absolute best and convert their absolute best and dedicate an army to one of the greatest classical movies. It's called 13 Assassins. And it is an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. And I wanted an entire Tau army with 13 models. And you convert all of the models to be samurai-based models. So you play the 8, you take the Lord of War, the 8, and you have all 8 of them. And for those who don't know, like what's in the 8, it's like Ovesa is in the 8, Farsight is in the 8, Bright Sword is in the 8, Brave Storm is in the 8, Shao So guy, whatever is in the 8. I mean, they already have freaking Japanese names for the 13 Assassins. And then there's a Commander Torch Stars in the 8 as well. So you take the 8, that gets you 8 guys, right? Then you have to take a Kroot Rider, because I have to convert a Kroot dude into a samurai dude carrying a giant sword on the back of a Kroot Hound, like riding it into battle, like as if he's like, Cloud from Final Fantasy VII riding a chocobo with his sword just out in the air. Like, just amazing. Like, you have to do that. That's a must. Then I'm taking... Daniel's just like, I only play 40K. I don't understand any of these references. Then I took a Cold Star Commander because I wanted...
cheating.
I wanted like a samurai...
To build good army lists, not create a
No. We were supposed to build the best armies. And my army is the best army. Yeah. And then you take a Cold Star Commander, and I would make him draw, like, literally, I would have, like, a dragon coming up his back, and that's what makes him fly. And it would be, like, one of the Asian-style dragons without wings. So that's kind of where I was going with it. And then I would take the really cool fast attack Riptide guy, because he has those cool things that come out his back. So you can convert him into ninja samurai swords. So it looks like he has, like, 8 samurai swords instead, because it's just amazing. I don't know. You guys aren't feeling my army. I don't like you guys. Not cool.
Well, both of us had to take it in real quick, mainly because you tasked us with making good armies out of the Tau Codex, which we said was literally the worst faction. So we spent kind of a lot of time making good armies, and you're just like, fuck it. I'm starting with the 8.
It's
We're
amazing. So it ends up being a 13 model total, and it's awesome. And I think I'm actually going to make it. I think I'm literally going to build the entire thing now. It's probably my next project. I haven't decided though. I need your guys' input. Should I go like 100% Japanese samurai style, like 100%, and have it all be like a Count's As army with like very much like converted Japanese looking models? Or should I try to make it more of a steampunk gothic samurai machinery like model where all of the models are like steampunk,
like the world from Love, Death, and Robots?
Yes, kind of like that mixed in with like Sucker Punch, where she had to fight those giant dudes with the swords.
Giant robots.
Yeah, something like in between that, like in terms of a theme, or like just traditional, like
I think
gowns.
You could probably make the steampunk easier because you could use existing GW models easier.
Do the Japanese thing because you're never gonna play this army in a tournament, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. Also.
Oh, really? Bet. How much do you want to bet? Put money down. Put money where your mouth is.
Nah, you can play it at the local tournament and come last. It's fine,
Yeah, that's right. Put your money down because I'm gonna play it at a tournament. You're gonna see. It's gonna be amazing. I'm not gonna come in last. I'm gonna come in first place for best painted. Watch.
I like that you put the pause for best painted.
That's where I went. I mean, I started where you guys were, and I realized that it's a waste of my time. So I pivoted to actually make something that people would want to do. And like, I feel like this thematic army is something that a lot of people would want to do.
Enjoyable.
Yeah.
I think the list that we put out, like the list I was saying, like I actually think that Tau play well if you were playing him in like a team tournament setting and you could choose the board.
The open table.
Yeah. If you had an open table and you basically put them out and they can refuse something, because man, they do put out a crazy amount of volume still. You know what I mean? It's not like
I think there's other armies that do that, but do it better. Like take 18 Smasher Guns with Orcs. They do it better.
I mean, if you're doing that, you could probably take your head back and put them out as your first, defender and Raiders.
Well, that's why when I was making the list, I was like, why am I trying to be competitive with me
Just make something that's fun. Make Tau lists, so I'm stressed out.
I told you make the best Tau list. I mean, how is the best Tau list a list where you're struggling and feel physically sick? Daniel got on the podcast like, today I don't like this topic. I don't like Tau. I'm frustrated. How is that the best Tau list if that's how you're getting on the podcast? I was excited to get on the podcast and pitch to you guys my idea of the 13 Assassins via Tau, powered by Tau engines. And you guys were all like, meh.
Trying to win, damn it.
I love it, Alan. Sorry if I'm negative. Sorry if I'm killing your darlings here. I just expected something else and I didn't get it. So, yeah, but it sounds really cool.
He ordered filet and you gave him some Skittles.
I gave him some fucking delicious Skittles though. Imagine if you got filet flavored Skittles.
Filet flavored Skittles. Taste the rainbow, bitches.
Taste the meat.
The rainbow.
Taste the ribeyes.
Skittles flavored filet. It sounds better.
Flavor flay. Flavor flay.
Talk about things that were going down. We just had Nids win a tournament over the weekend. 60 manor, I think it was 50. In Florida, they just don't care about anything. So I'm sure they held it on a bus 1 inch away from everybody. But no, I actually like. I think Nids have some play.
Who won? Who won what? I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Exactly
what are you talking about?
Everything you thought it had.
Yeah.
It had 2 Dimechosaurus.
Oh, is this that tournament? There was a tournament somewhere?
Yeah, down in Miami.
Oh, Miami. Okay.
And then they had he's got the Hive Guard units. It was it's exactly what you think it was.
The extra grind units.
It was basically the current kind of mojo list of Tyranids with the Democrats, the Hive Guard, Gaunt's out. It still plays. You can just play the mission with that, and those guys, because of their trick rule that they can just go through terrain and shit, and they also have fight twice. Classic.
They're like Harlequin monsters, which is cool.
Yeah,
I like them a lot.
So the list I still think. I mean, I know it was Tau today for his things, but man, I actually think that Tau's the hardest army if you're not just trying to make the cool army like Alan did, you know what I mean? Which was a cool concept army. But if you're looking for just like straight up tournament mojo, the problem is you're always going to get that heavy table. You went second, your opponent's playing fast hand to hand list and just gets through your screens too fast, and then touches your army. Or even if he doesn't do that, you get pushed back into a corner. You don't take enough objectives and secondaries, and you kill the entire army of your opponent. But it doesn't matter
because you have one turn to score at primary, and then
right, exactly. You table your opponent, and you still lose by 30 because you never got to push out.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I just play.
Yeah, it was Lennon, John Lennon list.
I like the giant Tyranid bug guy. That model's really cool.
Yeah,
the Forged one. It's gigantic.
Yeah. I think that there's besides, I mean, in Tau literally have their own place, but they're not in a good, they're in the worst place of anybody by them because they don't have any. Tau should have like shit they could ally with. You know what I mean? They literally have like a billion fucking races that they've met and
just make
involved in the greater good.
Just make Kroot good and redo their rules. They're fine. They don't need any allies.
I think I could make maybe Tau work if I could have AdMech horses to it.
No.
Just something to slow people down.
No.
Yeah.
No, I think they just need Kroot to be better. They just need a whole Kroot component to them, and I think they'll be great.
Kroot mercenaries back in it, baby.
Yeah, seriously, I'm dead serious. You can have some cool stuff. Like I don't know why Kroot riders
take the board very well. The problem is with the Tau. Anytime we talked a little bit about it a couple weeks ago when we were talking about the balance stuff. When you have armies that are that only operate in one phase, say corn, straight corn stuff with nothing else with it. Tau, they're only in the shooting phase. It's such a hard balance, you know what I mean, to make them good, because if you make them too good at other things, all of a sudden they're just so OP in the shooting phase, you know what I mean? Or corn is too OP in the assault phase, in the fight phase. So it's just hard to make those work, to tell you the truth, because I think both of them have been fair that had their days in the sun. Tower was just ridiculous for a while, you know what I mean? When basically fallback meant nothing and then the fly keyword was the ultimate keyword in the universe, they were just ridiculous because they broke all the rules. Yep. So
yeah,
it's difficult on that. Right now they're just, like I said, they don't take every time you play against Tau, it feels like you lose most of your army, and then it doesn't matter because you just push forward and take a lot of points. You're like, well, you tabled me, and I won.
Tau is probably one of the army that suffers the most from the game change of end game to progressive scoring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the key factor, because sure, some other stuff like the drones are a little bit unnecessarily expensive, but that's really where they suffer, because as you say, they could probably kill off enough so the last turn they could be on more buttons or mission objectives than the opponent, and therefore win slightly in end game sort of match. But now
we have been talking a little bit about this. I hope that they give us, because we were supposed to get another GT packet again, and I'm hoping that we get some end game and progressive. I like both, you know what I mean, but I like the idea of having both, so you can't tune up your army specifically for progressive,
like have a mix. We were talking about that before.
It's literally, if every time you go to a 2-day, you get a 5-game tournament, and you have to take 2 end games and say 3 progressives. You can't just only have a progressive army that plays progressive.
Well, I think turn 2 kind of changed that a little bit. Going second changed that a little bit.
The Tau did get hurt a lot also by the smaller boards and the more terrain, theoretically better terrain. But most tournaments are going towards more LOS blocking because GW is pushing that. So that did hurt them a bit. I really think they need just a few things that would make them significantly better.
When you're talking about end game scoring, do you think they should add that in as well, or is it a separate mission type? Could it be like you get 30 points per game for progressive and 30 points for end game?
I was thinking about both. I'm not gonna lie. I thought about both. I think the easiest is just to go 3 progressives, 2 end game, or obviously play an RTT.
I think it's cooler if you play both.
Yes, it's just that I don't know if people.
You mean like ETC's been doing for 6 years?
For forever, basically, yeah. Yeah, I would rather have it both because of the fact that I like complexity in my game though. So I want to have more things happening to make it so that I feel the player skills always the more things that you have to do, the more that player skill affects the outcome.
So your own secondaries goes down to 30 points. Progressive scoring is 30 points, and end game scoring is 30 points, or something like that.
Yeah, I would love something like that because it just makes you do more things, and you can't just go. Because a lot of times right now, I play the game aggressively, board control aggressive, where I'm not worried at all about losing units because I just don't care.
Yeah.
That's also how I'm playing. I'm hindering my movement, my enemy's movement, and I can give away almost anything to do that because I'm scoring 15 points and you're scoring 5 if you're lucky, which will lead to me winning even if all my army is dead.
Yep. I think turn 2 though did change that a little bit, right? Right though, guys, because like if you go second now, you can make up a lot. If your opponent does die, you can get at least 15. You can get a 15 on primary.
You can get a 15 in the primary. Yeah. Now, which is a big deal, for sure in the end game.
Sure, but
if you scored 5-5-5 the rest of the time, it's tough.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
Yeah, if you only got 5.
If we gave a huge end game, especially you wouldn't even have to do that because I already thought it was an unnecessary kick because a lot of armies were already just doing super well on that anyways. So it was almost like a win more with going second rules for the scoring on turn 5.
No, the problem is the good thing with that change is you can't build your army to go second because a lot of times, probably 50-50, you have to go first.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's a good change with it. That also helps.
Because my original armies, I actually had to make my armies more aggressively because I was choosing to go second almost all the time. Before, and I still would. I just don't have the option. So I was definitely dumping over that. But I just like the idea of having both Turn of War, end game, and progressive because it makes you just do more things and you can't just not worry about, you know what I mean? No. The end game. Right now, you just don't, a lot of times you're not even worrying about end game. You're just getting up in points and that's it.
Yeah. And I mean, when you've scored 45 in turn 4, you can give away everything. Just standing on buttons, making sure he's not getting it,
Yep, you just completely sacrifice because it makes no difference.
Standing on buttons. Just standing on buttons.
Stand on the buttons, baby. Play with the button.
That's good. Standing on buttons. Just you're not getting this. No. Go home. Leave me alone. Yeah, no, if you have 45.
I miss like a WCT, the ETC in the past, you know what I mean? Where we had a small amount of kill points. I would love that kind of stuff in the game, just a little bit. To make it so that you have to
now you have kill points. You choose that secondary. So
kind of, but like you're not taking that.
But secondaries are like meh.
Yeah,
grind them down, kill more.
Right. You have to have you can only take that against a horde. You know what I mean? That's it.
No, then you're talking about the Reaper one. I don't know.
You're talking just killing more. Yeah, the grind. Sorry, grind them down. Grind them down just so hard though. If you go first.
Yeah, no, I hate that. It's a trickery. It's a cinch. It's a cinch secondary.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go first, it's really rough.
Yeah, because your opponent's like, looks like you got 3. Yeah, I just need to get 3, so I have way different target priorities and stuff.
Yeah. And also, if you, it's okay if you go second, but you don't know that. So, and also typically you need to kill a lot of stuff in the beginning, and then in the end it's like, I can't kill that guy because I'm not maxing out my secondary.
Yeah, I don't mind. I like the T5 change. Kind of. I'm back and forth on that. Some games I love it, sometimes I don't. But I think that it would change. We wouldn't need it if you had some end game scoring just built in. Yep. So each person would have to do something because it doesn't matter at that point in time. And then by default, if you have end game scoring, the person that wins second already would have an advantage on that. Yep. So you wouldn't need the progressive turn and end of your turn progressive.
Keep the progressive scoring as it was, and reward going second as you're talking about now on end game scoring because it's huge, and that way people will need to really contemplate if it's worth playing alpha strike lists and going first because the 30 points on end game scoring is big or whatever, would make list building even more tactically challenging.
For sure. I think it would add another twist in that. Right now, I think that you see a lot of even though you see a lot of different armies, you see a lot of the same, basically battlefield rules when you talk about it. You know, people are just trying to take the board and do the same type of gameplay a lot over and over again. It would change it a lot if you had endgame also included it.
Do you think it would make it more complex, or would there just be another norm? Like, it's just like, now that we have this, you know, move blocking isn't really the big deal anymore.
It would turn into a norm for sure, but it would make it more complex also. So both.
Yeah, it definitely makes it more complex, because right now you only need to focus on making sure your enemy is not getting the progressive scores, which means you can give away a lot of stuff from your army, because those points, denying those points, he can never get them back, basically.
Yeah, it's big. It's big.
But with an end game scoring, you can't sacrifice as much or as willingly, because you need to be able to stand on the buttons. Maybe you would like to have the horses end game to make sure he can't walk onto the buttons to deny the end game scoring instead of the progressive scoring. So I think it could change.
Well, I mean,
obviously it will just be a new meta over a period of.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It just becomes kind of
the same, but
becomes kind of a different game. Yeah.
Carmona's got a good point on this. I actually think he's right. He says, I think armies with the redeploy options are sitting especially pretty because of the randomness of going first or second. Yeah, because if you can redeploy, I mean, anything that Phantasm, all those kind of things are super big on that, because you can deploy super aggressively or super defensively, you know what I mean? And then move back into first or second, you know what I mean?
Or
where you want to be.
You can refuse flank if you go first and
exactly.
I think that's one of the most powerful things with Harlequins.
No, redeployment in like a million times is like fantastic. Yeah, it's definitely the best thing. The best thing you can do before the game is any redeployment strats or any redeployment abilities. But going back to the earlier point, Daniel, I think you're right in terms of increasing the complexity of list design and also strategic decision making. There are games that I've played where it's turn 3 and it's bottom, and your opponent got 5 or 0 turn 2 and 5 or 0 turn 3. And now you're just looking at him like, I'm going to literally sacrifice my whole army. I don't care what you kill. I'm going to guarantee you a 5 or 0 on 4, and you lose. Like, it's over.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I got a 15-15, and now strategy making is out the window. I don't need to carry about any of that stuff. I just throw everything at you to ensure that you don't do anything. Yeah, you maybe table me on 5, but I don't care.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. You still win.
Because you're too far behind. Yeah.
So
it's points you can never get back.
Neil's coming in strong here. He comes in, he's like, what are your thoughts to allowing players to choose between progressive or endgame, a la Nova does right now?
That's like Nova. Yeah. I don't think you should choose it. No, because then you can still design accordingly. I think the whole reason for not being able to choose it and that increasing complexity is that now you have to design an army that does both. You have to value both. You have to value screen blocking as well as resilience. You have to value alpha strike abilities as well as damage output in turns 4 and 5. So you have to figure out like this beautiful balance, and then you got to pilot it during a game with changes and dice, right? And making the best decisions, because when it's turn 3 and you're already up by 30-0 and you can guarantee that they get 0 or 5 the turn after, you're like, I don't care anymore because it's an auto win. Like, I just throw everything at you and there's no decision making. So really, I think you can't let them choose, because then you could design armies, like you could design a defender army that's always picking progressive, or so on and so forth, always picking endgame, whatever it is. So I think you need both of them at the same time.
Yeah, that's why I asked Brad before what he thought, because I think that's the key to sort of making it complex enough so it's going to keep interesting. Because, I mean, endgame scoring also had problems, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's, games, especially with random game length, there was games that were stolen, basically. It was like, I'm going to run these 3 models up.
And time, too. And time also, all that kind of stuff impacted it. Yeah, stolen games, yeah. Yeah, I've had a lot of those.
I think you should go for all of those. And also, I think we should take down the value of the secondaries a little bit. I think that's good because, at least as far as I can see now, some codex-specific secondaries are really, really strong. So it would decrease the chance for games W to fuck up on the codex specific secondaries. And
Yeah, are they only allowing one of those to be taken though?
Nah, they compete in the same roles as other things, right?
I would make them their own thing and one only. That's what I would do. I would make them still compete with the other ones, so you can't take like a codex specific kill and then like a kill from the book. But I would make it so you can only take one from the codex for competitive tournaments. Because you're right, you're 100% right, Daniel. There's a power creep, and certain codex abilities are just too good. So if the Dark Angels army comes in, it's like I'm taking my 3 Dark Angels. Easy to do.
The Dark Angels will probably take, with unkillable Terminators, they're taking the one stand-on-one objective, and then they can take Oath from Space Marines, which is super good from Space Marines, and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like it.
Maybe one per codex.
Neil's just like, hey, you wanna write those up and send them into him?
Write up what, my suggestions? Sure. I can write up my suggestions and send them to Neil. I'll send them to Brad first so he could proofread them, and then I'll let him send them to you, which means they'll never get there.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
But there will be no spelling errors.
No, I can send it to Neil. I like Neil. I'll spend some time doing some actual work for Neil. I don't mind. Neil's a cool guy. He's good. Every once in a while he's good. Plus he's from Sweden now. He's a Swedish dude. And he meets regularly in incognito to play games against people. So I think it's nice. Yeah. Good job. Good job, buddy.
Good job. Douche.
Oh.
I don't know
everything about this.
So
I don't know what else.
We started with Tau and ended up changing
the entire
of how we
basic
wanna play the
format
game.
of the game.
Yeah.
And I don't think we benefited Tau either. Like, it's not like they're going to come out smelling good out of these changes either. They're still going to get wrecked.
Just some end game would actually be fan-fucking-tastic for them.
No, they're not around even sometimes. So they're probably all dead.
Yeah, but we didn't make it worse for Tau.
We didn't make it worse. No, it's not worse for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
There was a part of me that was going to come.
Good.
There was a part of me that was going to come in today and be like, "Oh, I wrote my 2,000 point list for Tau. It's a Manta. I'm just going to play a Manta. That's it. I'm just going to deploy a Manta and fly my
Manta
Manta
instantly
around."
lose because you can't actually deploy it anywhere on the board.
Yeah, I don't think I could deploy. Yeah, that's
It's like, I'm going to fly it on. You're like, it can't go anywhere. I guess I'm destroyed. Well, unfortunately, that was 2,000 points.
Why do they sell this model if you can't play with it? Because it's fucking beautiful. Paint it up. Put it on your shelf.
Good game. I denied you kill more grind at least.
Yeah. I mean, you do really. If it was OPSEC, you'd have one really big fucking model taking the board.
I feel like my list of the 13 assassins and the Manta have the same chances of winning a game, though. So it's not that different. One's just more legal. So
everything about it.
So are you guys free Friday for another list cast? We could do another hour-long episode where we review people's lists ad hoc. They can call in and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah,
if we can go late, I can do it. I have dinner plans until 8.
Yeah, that's fine.
My time.
Yeah, that's
so
fine.
If we can go like 2 hours later than now, your time, I don't know. That's probably like 4 Brad times.
Yeah,
or something.
That's fine.
I think I'm 6 hours different than you. So
7.
If you're going to go 9.
7 Gambian maybe time. We'll go with that
7
time.
Gambian maybe.
Yeah.
And then it'll be on like Donkey Kong for more list mojo.
Yeah, I'm